Hi everyone, welcome. Welcome to the 5-day PD sessions of APCSA. This is Jane from PopFizz and I'll be supporting you pace through the PD course. Today I'll go over how the 5 days are going to be structured and what topics will be covered. Then we'll get into the Java programming. And feel free to jump in and ask any questions at any time using the chat window or using your mic. Before we get started, can we share how much experience we have with Java programming? You can type this into the chat window and I'll check in about a minute. Structure of the course. So there are daily 30-minute check-in sessions and a follow-up online course assignment after that. The 30-minute check-in consists of mini lectures, Q&As, and we also cover some of the common mistakes that students make. And feel free to use this time to ask any questions you have. The assignments are available on the online course, and you can go through the step-by-step tutorials, create programs, and solve questions from the course. So are you all enrolled in the online PD course? If you don't have access, let me know. I'll sign you up. So the 5 days are structured like this. We'll be learning the basics of Java programming, and today it'll be basic Java syntax, conditional statements, and methods. Tomorrow it'll be loops, which are the while loops, for loops, and nested loops. Day 3, we're going to cover wrapper classes such as the integer and double class, and also we'll learn about the string class. Then, as the final project, we're going to create an inspirational wisdom bot, and finally do a code review and wrap up. So let's take a look into the history of Java. Java is an object-oriented computer programming language, and it became very popular due to its platform independence. It was a big deal back then when it first came out in 1994. It was created by a computer scientist named James Gosling, still alive, and was initially called Oak. A funny name, right? Back then, it was owned by Sun Microsystems. Are you at that age where you're familiar with Sun Microsystems? Because I am. It was acquired by Oracle in 2009. And here's a fun fact. So if you go to Facebook's office in Menlo Park, you'll see a big sign of the like thumb. That looks like this image right here. Behind it, they have Sun Microsystems sign, all worn out and withered. Eerie, right? Zuckerberg must have kept it there on purpose. And another fun but not so fun fact is the Oracle versus Google lawsuit over the Java programming language and its copyright. Who would have thought that a programming language so widely available is subject to a copyright, right? As you may know, Android phone platform uses Java, and after Oracle bought Sun Microsystems, they attempted to charge Google for it, so the lawsuits began. After many appeals here and there, Oracle won in 2018. However, the lawsuit is still ongoing. Google has petitioned the Supreme Court to rule this case, so we'll have to wait and see how this turns out. Anyways, the latest version of Java is version 8. And one more note on the APCSA course, starting this fall, you're no longer required to cover abstract or interface. Do I hear a cheer or a cry? Anyways, all right, let's get into the content. So this is how Java works. Here is a Java file. It's called Hello World and has a .java file extension. Do you see this on the side? Let me pull up my pen. Yes, it has a .java extension, and to create a Java file and run it, you need 3 things: a code editor and Java development kit. So this has the Java C, the compiler, and the JVM, the Java virtual machine, and it lets you execute your code. Popular editors or IDEs include Eclipse, IntelliJ, Dr. Java, and I've also seen some teachers use Android Studio. The funny thing is that the computer cannot understand Java code as is. It has to be translated into a bytecode, which is the language of the computer. The Java compiler does the translation job. The translated file ends with the extension .class and contains bytecode, which consists of zeros and ones. For doing assignments on PopViz, you don't need to install any of this. The online coding environment is provided for you, so you can work from anywhere where you have access to the internet and a browser, Chrome preferred. Next is Java syntax. Here's a simple code that prints out "Hello Sunshine" to the console window, and the line that says system.out.println does the job. There are a few things to note here. Case matters. Lowercase and uppercase letters are treated differently. So if system was spelled with the lowercase s, the program will throw an error. And also you need matching braces. The curly braces that you see here, they are used to create code blocks. If you're familiar with Python, it's similar to what the indentation does. The braces must be in matching pairs, and so do the brackets and the parentheses. Variables. In Java, variables store data. To declare or create a variable, put the variable type first, then the name of the variable, and an equal sign to assign the value, and finally, the value. Oh, one more thing. Very important. Semicolon to finish it off. So there are 4 types of variables that you need to know for APCSA. And they are string, double, integer, and Boolean. String is for storing texts, and you put the phrase between double quotes. And you use double for decimal values, int for integers, and Boolean for true or false values. Order of operations. Take a look at this equation. What is the answer? I'll give you 3 seconds. It is 18. If your students get this wrong, it means that they'll need to be reminded on the order of operations. Multiplication and division come before subtraction and addition unless they are in parentheses. These are mathematical operators, and they work like they do in math, except for these cases. So let's take a look at the integer division right here. Int divided by int returns an int instead of 2.5. The 0.5 is truncated. However, once you have doubles in your expression, decimal values are returned. Modulus. Modulus is very useful in programming. It gives you the remainder after a division. So let's say if you have 10 modulus 3, you'll get 1. And let's take a look at this question. To get the last digit from the given number n, which is a very long number right there, what should go in the blank? We're trying to extract the last digit, number 2, right? So what do we need in the blank? 3 seconds. All right, so it's 10. Thank you. So for getting the last digit, you need to do a modulus 10 so that you get the remainder of 2, right? If you need 2 last digits, you'll do modulus 100, right? For 3, you'll do modulus 1000. It's also very useful for figuring out if a given number is even or odd. So here we have n modulus 2, and if we get 0 as the output, it means that the n is an even number. If we get 1 as the output, it means that n is an odd number. Relational operators. Relational operators work in similar ways as it does in math, just that in Java, it returns a Boolean value of true or false. So what is the output of the first print statement? 2 seconds. It is false. A is 10, and 10 is not less than 10. So it's printing out false as its Boolean value. Let's take a look at the second one. We have A equals 10. Now, double equal sign compares if the values are the same. So what is the output? 2 seconds. All right, yes, it is true. Next, logical operators. So logical operators lets you create more complex conditions with relational operators. And both sides of AND operator must be true. for the expression to return true. For OR operators, just one side has to be true for the whole expression to be true. Let's look at the first case. What is the output? 3 seconds. So the left side is false. There is no need to check the rest of the expression because it is already determined by the first condition that this expression is false, right? Okay, so the answer is false, and let's look at the second case. Everything is the same except for the logical operator. 3 seconds. Yes, so A does not equal to 1, but the right side condition, B is equal to 3. So the whole expression is true. Next is another example. So a student can become an honor student if the student has a GPA over 3.0 and attendance of over 97%. So now let's say that this is the given student's GPA and attendance rate. Can this student make the honors? 3 seconds. Answer is no. Not enough attendance. Okay, so be careful when you see edge cases like this. 97 is not greater than 97. And many times, this will throw your students off. So be careful when you see edge cases like this. Okay, next is DeMorgan's law. DeMorgan's law works like the distributive properties. And the exclamation mark here, it means not. For DeMorgan's law related questions, you'll usually see this. So you'll have options A through E, and you'll be asked to find an expression that is equivalent to the given one right here. And so in order to find the equivalent expression, you'll need to do this. So let's distribute the not sign. It'll change the operators to its opposites and disappear. So A is less than or equal to B. Now we need its opposite, so it's going to change to greater than B. Okay, and the OR operator, the next one, becomes and B is greater than C becomes less than or equal to. So this is what your expression becomes after the DeMorgan's law. Conditionals. So we use conditionals every day when we're making decisions. And you can program these conditions in Java so that it executes different lines of code depending on the condition. Here's a program that takes a given score and outputs a grade. So a score greater than 90 is A, greater than 80 is B, and so on. Okay, let me pull out my pen. As you can see, we're using conditional statements to create this. The if condition, right here, this is what we're checking first. If it is not met, then we go to the second one, which is the else if, right? And keep going until we find a condition that is true. And once we meet the condition that is true, then we no longer need to execute the rest, so we get out of this if conditional tree. All right, so let's say that we have a given score of 89. We're going to output the grade. What is the output? I will give you 5 seconds. All right, so the grade is B. Let's see how that works. So let's take a look at the first condition, right? 89 is greater than 90? Nope. So let's cross it out and move on. Is 89 greater than 80? Yes. So execute the code under this one. Now grade is set to B. We've met our true condition. So it means that we can exit from the whole condition tree, skip all this down here, and then go to the last line that prints the grade. And the grade that we have at this point is B. So B is printed. Okay, what about this code? The only difference between the code on the left and the right is that we're using if statements instead of else ifs. So I will give you 5 seconds to figure out the answer for this one. What is the output? This one was a little bit tricky, right? So the grade is D. Let's go over what happens here. So from the looks of this code, we can see that there are 4 individual if statements, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the last else belongs to the if on the top, the closest if statement. So let's start comparing from the top. Is 89 greater than 90? No, so nothing happens with this. Next if, is 89 greater than 80? Yes, it is. So we're going to set the grade as B. So this line is executed. Next if, okay, so is 89 greater than 70? Yes, it is. So now grade is no longer B, it is C. Next if, is grade greater than 60? Yes, it is. So our grade is now set to D. And we skip the else statement and we print this grade, which gives us D. All right, so that is that. Let's go to the next slide. Methods. So a method is a group of instructions that performs a task. It works like a utility tool that you can pull out and use whenever you need it. And here is a method called inch to centimeters. And let's take a look at the structure first. So first of all, it starts with the keyword public, right? This has to do with access, but we'll ignore this for now. Then it is followed by void. Now, void is a placeholder, and we'll see what this means in the next example. Then we have the method name, inch to centimeters, followed by parentheses. They're empty. And then we have the curly braces to create the code block for this method. Inside it, we see a variable declaration, right? It's a type double called inch length, and it's set to 3.0. And another variable double centimeter length. And what it does is it takes the inch length from the top here, right? Multiply that by 2.54 and assign it to centimeter length. So that's it. So this is all this method does. And in order to call it, you need to do this, right? Just call it by its name and followed by parentheses and semicolon. Well, at this point, this method isn't very useful, right? We need to upgrade it with a few things. So let's make it so that it takes a value from outside, converts that number to a centimeter value, and returns that processed value. So here is the upgraded method. Note that instead of void, we have a double, right? So instead of void, we have double. Do you see other differences here? Also, we're passing in a value, and we're calling it inch length, and it's going to be type double. Then we're going to return the processed value, which is going to be the centimeter value of the given inch. All right, so that is it. And in order to call this method, you do this. So you call the name of the method, pass in the parameter value of 2, right? Then this 2 is assigned to this variable, inch length, which then in this method is multiplied by 2.54. And now this converted value is assigned to centimeter length. Centimeter length is returned, right? So this value that we have, that is all processed, will be stored here. Okay, so let's see what will happen if we actually print it. So system out, println, inch to centimeters, pass in 2, and the output will be 5.08. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll cover loops. Until then, please check out the assignment at the PopViz PD course. If you don't have access, let me know. I'll add you to the course. Also, if you need help with any of the questions, feel free to email me at jlee@popviz.io. So have fun coding, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.